four beardsmen. The four beardsmen of the book Apocalypse.
Hello.
Hello,
everyone.
hello.
Welcome to the Four Beardsmen of the Book Apocalypse. I'm your host, David T. List, joined by David T. List, and David T. List with our very special guest, Xueting Ni. Hi, Xueting. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, David T. Lists. Thanks for having me. Even though the prototype version 0 couldn't join us, I'm sure his presence is felt, right?
We're all channeling his presence, I think, Xueting. But which of us makes the most accurate David T. List, do you think?
Ooh.
It's not me.
I don't know, maybe I'll tell you after the... I've only seen a couple of episodes. I'm not sure. I'll tell you after the live stream.
I feel like saying, I'm David T. List, and so is my wife.
I think you should all just be your lovely selves, because then we'll have some variation and it would be more interesting.
That is true. So we'll change our name from the Four David T. Lists of the Book Apocalypse.
What a burn, Xueting. Like, you more interesting than David T. List. What are you trying to say? Like, I love it. I love it. Already we're creating controversy among the listeners.
It's only been, 30 seconds? A new record. Fantastic.
Has he secretly got you to sell his book? It's his upcoming book.
Well, he has had news, but I'm not sure if is he aware?
Yeah.
He's aware. He's definitely aware, yeah. Okay. So I think we're allowed to celebrate.
Yeah. I think, DB, you should break the news, given you have the backdrop.
So Mr. David T. List and his amazing, epic, grimdark fantasy novel, Violence and Vigilance, is an SBFBO finalist as of today.
Hey, congrats.
The real David T. List. Congratulations, man, if you're watching this.
Well done, David.
Oh. He was vanishing.
Yeah. Oh, impressive.
It.
What is the...
I don't know why that happened. This is not a graphic. This is my a mural on my living room wall.
Violence and Vigilance.
Yeah. No, congratulations.
Oh, that's the actual title?
Yes, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Very striking title.
No, I'm filling in for David tonight. As people may have seen me on previous episode of this, I am Fraser Armitage, but I am also David T. List. So on behalf of everybody, thank you very much for the congratulations and the well wishes. Hopefully, we never know how Spiffco's going to go, but I'm just pleased that the book is in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And go out and buy a copy of it because it's awesome, because I wrote it.
Yeah.
I feel it needs like a y'all added on the end.
Y'all.
But speaking of books, Xueting, this is my segue. It's not a very good one, but I first became aware of your work in 2021 when you released an incredible omnibus of Chinese sci-fi short stories called Synopticon. Since then, came prepared. Since then, you have released a textbook on Chinese myths. I'm testing you now.
I'm not going to get that one because it's heavy. I might not.
But it is good. You should read it. And not content with those two books, you followed it up with a horror anthology, again bringing Chinese stories over to Western audiences with Sinophagia, which hopefully isn't as heavy a book.
Yeah, there it is. It's supposed to be a sister anthology, but it's a thing in its own.
And I'm not missing anything else, am I? Because I think you're working on multiple projects at any given moment.
Yeah, I'm spinning a few plates at any given moment. There is a book called Chinese Ghost Stories, which features traditional Chinese ghost stories from the 18th century, which I wrote an introduction to. And then there's various versions of Synophagia synopticon. There's a Japanese version of synopticon and a Italian version with a lovely monkey. Oh, it's too far to reach. Of the Italian edition of Synophagia, and currently working on a couple of things like a non-fiction on wuxia storytelling and another anthology, China Plus 100.
Busy,
I have
busy.
no idea how you balance all of these things in one go. That's incredible.
Yeah, because my remit is quite wide, and I don't really write non-fiction. I don't really write fiction. I write non-fiction. So, and I do cover across. I do try and cover a bit of Chinese culture across the spectrum. So, kind of because I deal with the representation of Chinese culture in the arts in general. So I aim to look at film, literature, and comics, TV series, but mainly literature. That's what I really love to talk about and to translate. Really, yeah. It's busy. It's quite busy, but I like the wide scope. It's nice to, to look at a culture. You really need to look at different aspects of it.
I suppose you're perfectly placed to bridge that sort of gap, because obviously you grew up until you were aged 11 in China before you moved over here. What's kind of been the challenges that you've noticed, but particularly when you first started out compared to like where you are today?
Where I first started out, when I first started out, there was no China maxing as there is today. So people didn't really want to know about China, except it's a ancient civilization with a problematic bureaucratic presence, a current presence, and then something like the factory of the world. Beyond these two aspects, people didn't really want to know. I'm told at anime conventions, I go to give talks that people they don't want to know about China. They just want to watch anime. I mean, I also love anime, but I think there's a lot of cool stuff going on as well. I mean, today it's very different it's very different environment. I would say a lot more friendly environment, and I like to hope that me and other writers and creators have contributed to that somehow, as well as it being a kind of due to the changes of geopolitics and its role in the world stage. So yeah, it's really changed. It makes my job easier now. There's a different set of challenges, though, I think, probably, like the xenophobia that's materialized gradually during the lockdown, during the pandemic, and other tensions. That there's new challenges, but I'm really happy that people are interested in Chinese culture and they're aware of China as a interesting and cool place that makes animation, comics, and cool films, and kind of great TV dramas and things like that. And I used to be there was just me and a few people. It feels like there's just me and some other people, just me doing things like there would be quite an influential film, and I would look up, I would research the culture behind this film, and I would tell people about it. And I feel like if you look at TikTok or Instagram, a lot of people are doing that. and a lot of them have Asian heritage. So that's great. So that makes my job easier. Like there's already interest for it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
One of the things that you were mentioning about anime and things like that, Xueting, one of the things that you opened my eyes to in conversations that we've had before is that China has its own sort of animation. Was it Donghua? Is it something like that? And it's
Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah, you've made some great recommendations, and it's like I think without that kind of influence that you've had and that kind of niche that you've carved out for yourself, I would never have come across these kinds of things. So as somebody who has benefited from your wisdom and from the promotion of these things, can I just say thank you? Because all the work that you do is so appreciated by people who love this kind of output that goes into the world that we might otherwise never have heard about. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. That's the best thing that a Chinese culture writer can hear, that the people enjoy the output and they learn something new. Hopefully that was fun as well. I mean, particularly animation, I feel like it's people know that China has an animation tradition now, and there's cool new stuff coming out. But I did this talk in 2008 where the University of Leicester, they premiered Storm Riders, the animation that's based on Wen Xinma, the Hong Kong comic artists, based on his work, the film based on that. They did a UK premiere, and then I did a talk introducing Chinese animation from the beginning, like early 20th century to then. And I felt like people, I mean, the audience was like, I did it throughout the day, and there were sessions where it was a full house, and then there was like one or two people. There were some sessions in between the screenings. But then it was incredible that I found bits of it repeated in, let's just say, some other writers' books who specializes in animation of Asia, and a talk in Asia House, and without me being credited. So in the end, I just put my whole talk up because that's what it's for. It's for people to, it's an introduction to animation, and if they're going to use my work, I may as well put it out myself. So yeah, that wasn't great, but I'm really happy that I'm really happy people are, there's more kind of interest and knowledge that of the of China's traditions and, you know, traditional animation, and awareness that there was this whole pool of output from Shanghai animation studios. And in fact, they're collaborating with Pixar to make, oh no, it's with Disney to make, they did a short based on this ritual of East China, where the baby, a newborn baby, when they are 1 month old, the objects are put in front of them, and they need to, whatever they grab shows their future and gives the parents an idea of how to raise them. This is kind of a ritual. And yeah, they did an animation with Disney and the Toy Story characters, a short, I think it's just come out. And I was really impressed with that. Wow, Disney is really trying to get into the Chinese market. And I was glad that it's with Shanghai Animation Studios, because that was the one that gathered the expertise in the 60s and 70s. And they made loads of films that were, you know, inspired by traditional techniques like stop motion, puppetry, and paper cut animation. And they do a lot of 2D stuff as well, like traditional 2D stuff. and then Inkwash as well. So I'm glad that they're continuing to collaborate with other big studios and they're making new output. So yeah, if you like animation, I suggest checking that out. It's quite fun.
Already with the recommendations, I love it, Xueting. I love it. I'd say I don't know how you guys feel, and I don't know how you feel about this, Xueting, but my trust over the internet has not been as strong of late as it maybe once was. And that's where I used to get all my information from, right? So if I wanted to find out something cool, I'd go to the internet and I'd tappy, and then, ooh, look, I've got knowledge. I'm not like, I've had so many wrong things told to me recently that to know that there is somebody out there that I can trust who is dispensing this information, who is giving out this knowledge and everything like that, it makes such a difference because it's like, I trust you, Xueting. So yeah, I'll go check out Disney's like amazing sort of, I used to trust the internet, Fresh. Yeah, I did. Yeah, back in when there was MySpace, you know, back in those days.
Oh, I remember MySpace.
Everybody told the truth on MySpace. That's what I firmly believe it. Yeah.
I need to know what your
upstanding moral characters.
Yeah. We were all upstanding.
And any recommendations you get from this panel can be trusted as well. We should add. You know,
oh yeah.
Just think of us as a bearded MySpace page.
Yeah. Oh, we need one. We need to make one.
Yeah.
With the internet of the early 2000s. Don't worry.
Yeah.
In Asian culture, Chinese culture, the wise person has a beard. Like that is a sign of long facial hair is a sign of wisdom. So we're okay. I need some.
That tracks. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it'll come to surprise no one that I have no wisdom, so that's fine.
Tom is the wisest.
Tom is the wisest. Yeah.
We call it that money back.
Oh, okay. There's a question.
Okay, yeah. There's a good question. A question from Joe Byrne.
Annoying. Should I just answer it or?
Yeah, go for it.
The rest of can people see this question on screen?
Yeah, I'll read it out. So, Joe Byrne wants to know, Xueting, if you find it annoying or positive when people steal thematic elements from Chinese media. I'm thinking of things like Cradle.
Thematic. No, I think it's great if they want to emulate thematically from any media. I mean, it's not copyrighted, a theme. What is this thing from Cradle? I haven't really come across it.
Tap it in, Joe. Tap it in specifically. Let us know, and then we'll get back to you on it.
By the way, Fraser, how did you know that the information was wrong that you got from the internet, and where did you look? Was it from Wikipedia?
I'm going to give you a little bit of a little insight into how Google has let me down, guys. I was at the British Fantasy Awards. Couldn't attend the awards, wanted to, had to get back to the family. Tapped in, because some friends of mine were nominated for awards, tapped in who won. Google told me who won the awards. The next day, I see an award winner. I've been told this person won an award, and I go up to this person and I say to them, hey, who won the award last night then? And they said, well, it wasn't me. And I was like, yeah. And they're like, no, it really wasn't me. Turned out they hadn't won an award. I looked like the biggest idiot ever. Like knowing, like it was just awful. And from that point on, I was like, Google, you have lost my trust. It was just, and now I have to go on YouTube for things, and I have to find you, Xueting, and say, Xueting, what tea should I drink? And, you know, Xueting, what Chinese movie should I watch? And
did you look at the AI? I wouldn't trust the AI.
Yeah, exactly.
More reliable websites like if you're looking up something to do with science, then
Yeah.
something like the Nash, depending on what kind of science, the NASA website or the,
Oh, there we go.
Back.
something to do with national medical organizations or university websites, things like
Yeah,
that.
there's still trusted sources of information on the internet. I'm not dissing the whole internet,
Yeah.
but
You should probably go to the doctor
guys
about that rash, though. So
yeah. No, I found a great website for that, Charlie. Don't worry.
oh, good.
So Cradle is a progression fantasy written by a white American. Is it Will White that's the author of Cradle?
I think so.
That basically mimics step for step wuxia cultivation stories that I've seen before in Chinese comics.
Oh, well, if they want to, so currently I'm thinking about this a lot, and my book is going to be not just wuxia in China or Asia. So towards the end, there's going to be the development of wuxia in like maybe elsewhere in Asia, like Thailand, Korea, or even outside of that. Certainly, it had a big impact on the US, and I'm going to be writing quite a lot about that. So I don't think there's anything wrong if they want to emulate that, but if they're pretending, is this white American pretending to be Chinese, or have they consulted have they had a sensitivity read? Have they consulted a consultant who has representation in the culture? I would be asking these kind of questions. Are they, because I unfortunately met and indirectly worked with people who work with a yellow-faced writer, I'm afraid. That as soon as I found out that about his practices, I kind of cut all contact, and I think my fellow Asian writers were pretty disgusted as well. This person basically they invented a Chinese name for themselves. They're not Chinese, and then they wrote about Chinese fantasy, even created a picture that looks Chinese. So hence yellow face, and that's not great. That's not good. There's nothing wrong with somebody who really loves wuxia, even though maybe they watched kung fu movies when they in their youth, or when they grew up, or during the US kung fu craze, or maybe even during the 2000s when it came into mainstream, like with Crouching Tiger, and they really want to create a work that's inspired by that. That's great. I have no problem with that. I've written there's the universal elements between Western fantasy and Eastern fantasy, for example, like Star Wars. Clearly, there's a lot.
I read your article about the influence of, I think, The Mandalorian and Rogue One that I think you mentioned, which was eye-opening.
Yeah, so there's a lot of thematic and trope related and aesthetic even influences from that. And it's not pretending to be set in China written by a Chinese person. I think that's the...
I think from listening to your answer, Xueting, I think for me it reminds me a little bit of The Matrix, right? And a lot of the kung fu in that movie was done by Wu Peng, wasn't it? I think that was who it was. But you would never. They're not trying to make Keanu Reeves Chinese. They're not trying to set it in China. It's just that they've taken something that they love and they've put it in a different setting. And that's the difference.
The style, I guess.
Yeah. No, I think Will White, according to Google, remember I don't trust this, William Lawrence White III So I don't think he could be mistaken for a Chinese person by the name. So
No.
yeah.
Okay, so that's fine then. And then then maybe we need to look at, in his books, are the characters represented properly? Is there Orientalism, and has he consulted somebody who knows about the culture, like who has representation in the culture? If
Guys,
it's
I feel like I've angered Will White because as we're talking about this, a giant storm has just kicked off outside my house with thunder and lightning, and I'm like, oh, what have we done? What have we birthed here, guys? What have you done to me, Joe? Like
The Will White fan base is coming for you.
exactly. Yeah.
where are you?
Right
Is it
now,
Wales?
I'm at my parents' place, and it's in a seaside coastal town in the northeast of England. So it's great. Feels nice and cool. Like the lightning's just split the skies. It's amazing.
Wow. So maybe it's worth bringing that on.
There might be a smoking ruin coming out of Fraser's seat soon. Where's Fraser gone?
Yeah.
Just as long as you're okay, Fraser.
This could be great. Like if I go up in flames here, it will go viral. Like
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
and David would be
Views will
so
just be off the
miffed,
chart.
right? David T. List would be like, "Oh, the one episode I wasn't here." Like,
Yeah, the ratings would go through the roof.
Yeah.
actually, because I'm at mum and dad's at the minute, they were saying, "Oh, who is it you're going to talk to for your for the YouTube thing?" And I was saying about your anthologies, Xueting, and they were asking about them, and I said that they're different to any other anthology that I've ever read because you feel like you're learning about Chinese culture as well as reading Chinese fiction. So it feels like you are feeding your non-fiction and your fiction brain at the same time. And I absolutely love the footnotes that you put in that describe things about the Chinese culture. Your love and your passion for promoting China, was that the reason that sort of led you to do that format with the anthologies, or was there a different reason that you had in mind for, as a translator, for why you structured them that way? I'm really intrigued.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. The love and passion for the culture and for kind of, I mean, it's been my life kind of transplanted, a transcultural experience, transplanted from the home culture to a second home of Anglophone culture, from Asian to Anglophone. And so I feel like it's only intuitive to do something like that for my work. And I've been very lucky to be able to do that after 15 years of doing 2 jobs. Yeah, it's kind of also because I write mainly non-fiction and, short form essays, articles, or books rather than fiction. And my connection with fiction is very much talking about it, writing about it. So if I can do that in a book with the translations, then that would be great. And people seem to enjoy that approach as well. They seem to enjoy the notes because it puts the pieces into context and tells them a bit about the tradition and maybe about the writer. I always have a conversation with the writer all through that beforehand to talk to them about the story, about writing. And then the introduction, I always make sure I share the experiences of, or what the genre is like in China, the experiences of curating the book in there. And they always seem to really enjoy the introduction. So it's becoming an approach. And when I'm doing new anthologies, like the one for Comma Press, which is not an originated project as such, but something that I was asked to do, they have said, "Oh, can you write the introduction as well?" and kind of help to curate, make the selection and pull it together. So yeah, I think it's developing into a signature approach. Yeah, because I enjoy writing about fiction rather than fiction.
Yeah.
So that's,
And I think as well, it's a lovely thing to do as a translator because you're keeping so much authenticity of the original text and also finding a way to translate that as well, because so much can be lost in translation. It's such a skill. And I love that you've thought about it from a translation point of view as well as a cultural point of view. I think it's really good. I've never had to translate anything, you know, from English into English. I imagine Charlie's probably had to translate things into Australian.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
to translate it. I found that particularly, you joke, but because I spent a lot of time in the UK when I was younger, and I went to university up in the north of England, up in Durham, which was fun. But when I first got there, I had to change my vocabulary to a degree because I'd say things and people just look at you going, what? Yeah. And so I found myself slowly, and then you go back to Australia and they go, oh, it sounds so English now. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah. There's
Yeah,
a bit, probably not the same degree, but yeah, there's a little bit of translation issues at times.
it's like keeping in the main text, keeping dunny, and then putting the footnote and putting a dunny as a toilet.
Yes.
Way better because you keep the word dunny, right?
Yeah,
It's like
keep the authenticity there. Yeah.
yeah, it's great. It's great. But no, I love your approach to it, Xueting. I think it's so good. And I think as well it kind of shows, like, because I think translators get a bad rep. Like you never really see the translator advertised on the book, but they've done like as much to bring that story to the world as the author sometimes. And it's like the fact that you're doing that and you're shining a light on what goes into the process of translation and, you know, your thought process and highlighting that, I think is really opening a normal reader's eyes to the amount of work that goes in, not just from the point of view of compiling these stories together, but actually putting them into English. So yeah, I think it's great. I think on behalf of all the translators in the world, I just want to say thank you again, Xueting, because what you're doing is great.
thank you. I think there are different some translators may just want to translate the piece. They don't want to do any of the other stuff, which is fine, you know. But as a translator, I have, you know, always treated it like translating culture. Of course, there is a language that needs to work, needs to flow beautifully, but it's also culture that I'm translating. And actually, something that's related to different uses of English, I think that also affects, like what you were saying, Charlie, about you know, in Australia, there's different uses of English. So currently for China 100, we have translators from around the world. So I'm translating a few pieces, but there are other ones, a few people, we have people from China, you know, Asia and the US and Australia as well. And there was one piece where the translator has translated a word caretaker, and the series editor, you know, said to me, well, what does he mean here? I mean, that's janitor in China, in English. And I said, I think he means caregiver or carer. But yeah, I mean, particularly maybe this word caretaker is like a particularly UK use of the word, right? And as far as the translator was concerned, it's somebody who takes care of someone rather than the janitor, the cleaner. So
you wouldn't want to be mixing those two up, would you, Xueting? Like the janitor and the carer.
No, somebody that cares for a human rather than a building.
Yeah.
I'm just reminded of these content creators on Instagram, like Chinese content creators who actually read all these Chinese like character tattoos and say, this one means fish.
Yeah.
Yes, we're supposed to be hero or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad
Yeah, this
tattoo.
one means I am a tattoo.
I did think about that, starting that as one of my remits, you know, to as a tattoo consultant, to make sure that people don't put something permanent on their skins that means something silly, like
Insert name here.
You'd have to make sure that we all got a tattoo that actually said David T. List and not some kind of other name. That would be
he's already famous before his book comes out. Or has it already come out?
It's already out, yeah.
Oh, I see.
But it's just about to go boom.
Yes, hopefully.
I mean, yeah, I don't, yeah. I think it comes from this fascination, this tattoo, people getting tattoos that don't mean anything they think they mean. It's this fascination with another language, like I used to go to China and see, when I went to China in the summer holidays, or like on visits, I'd see people wearing English T-shirts, and they think it looks really cool, but it might not say anything, it might be gibberish. But they think that it looks really cool because it's something foreign and something different. And exactly the same with people here. Western people, it might wear something, well, I mean, super dry. I mean, what does that mean? That's not even Japanese, that brand. I'm not sure if the kanji or the katakana is accurate or not on that. On the codes.
I think I break the mold here, Xueting, in that English people read my English text and they think it says gibberish. So that's the.
I'm sure it's not the case, Fraser. I've read one of the stories.
I mean, it's speculative fiction. That's the whole point, right? It's meant to be gibberish.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop reading those reviews, Fraser.
Hey, I'm just talking as David T. List here. You know, it's like, what's this Fraser nonsense? Like,
yeah, that's it. He's moved on, Joe. He's dropped us. Yeah.
He's gone round to Mark Lawrence's for tea, is what he's done.
I mean, I think people who are sometimes they who are sort of maybe not so close to the SFF readers circles, or maybe a bit separated, and there's an odd view that they take to speculative fiction. It doesn't necessarily mean, speculative world building does not mean that the meaning has to be speculative, or it does not have to have a story. We really want a story, a story that would work. And then there are writers who do not think they write science fiction. They do not think they write speculative fiction, but they do, like Clara and the Sun, for example. That is science fiction, and some other. The Handmaid, for example, Lay's Tale, that's science fiction, definitely. I think maybe there's some kind of reputation to science fiction where, it's somehow not proper literature. I don't know. Writers who don't usually write it, when they use the tools of science fiction, and then they say, oh, it's not science fiction, not really.
The reputation of genre fiction was something that I found so fascinating when we chatted about it, because we did an interview Xueting for the Fanfare Addict channel when Sinophagia came out, and talking about horror and the reputation that horror has within China as a genre. I found it so fascinating learning about that and seeing how, how special that book is to just be a collection of Chinese horror. I loved your insights into that. I thought it was really good. Would you share it with us like here? Because I just loved the way that you describe the way that horror is perceived in Sinophasia.
Yeah, I would say, I'm tempted to say, read my introduction. There is a redacted version on Reactor Mag. Yeah, it has horror has had a problematic reputation recently because a lot of there were lots of pirated versions of Hollywood horror films or the slashers that were going into the Chinese market in the 2000s, as they got a lot of contracts for exports of DVDs, and then I think that was a learning process for the Chinese filmmakers. But then on the other hand, a lot of trashy films or novels that came out to capitalize on how popular horror was. It had a mini boom in the 2000s, the domestic novel market, and so lots of these kind of trashy illegal works came out to capitalize on that because it was profitable, and then that gave it a bad reputation, and there were a few unfortunate copycat deaths of fans. And then when I was curating the series, no one wanted to write horror, including the writers that I read before that were very established, very influential in the genre, and they just said, "Can you curate something else instead?" And I said, "No, not really, because I can see there's a lot of excellent works over the past 20 years, and I can feel that horror is becoming popular, at the beginning of the 2022, around that time. I can feel that it's going to get more popular." So that was the it was disapproved of. It was censored and then disapproved of, and so writers didn't want to be associated with it. But then it took kind of a lot of persuasion on my part, and kind of saying that I can see the value in what they've written, and also it's proved by the readership on the internet, the few writers that persisted in the genre. And I would really love Western readers to read that, where the market is a lot more developed and horror is a lot more accepted. I know that it will be popular, and some of them,
There is a sense that horror is one of those things that could just traverse any barriers, that cultural, linguistic, and I'm glad you pursued that particular project. I suppose you can see how successful it was because I used to own a red umbrella before I read that anthology, and now I don't. That went out the door. I'm not going to plot spoil. You have to read it to find out why.
Oh, I do have that. I'm really glad to hear that. Sorry for your red umbrella, but kind of glad that it's had that effect. I do have umbrella. So was that one that struck particularly, Tom?
It was, and I think I messaged you around the time when I was reading it, and I've always believed a good horror is one that works its way inside you. I'm sure all four of you will agree.
Yeah.
It's one where it can be something really silly, like I can no longer own a red umbrella because it's going to freak me out. It's going to be raining. I'll open it and go, oh no. And I think that was a standout for me. Similar with this story in Synopticon with the Great Migration, which was also almost horror-esque and it's so bleak. But it's these stories that really stick with
Yeah,
you.
it's a bit depressing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but it's so brilliantly written. And it doesn't matter that it's a Chinese author, it could be any author. That the fact is, you're bringing these stories which we otherwise wouldn't have any access to. I mean, I speak from my own ignorant standpoint. Before I'd read Synopticon, Sinophagia, my introduction into Chinese literature was the works of, you know, an English author, the evil Dr. Fu Manchu, which of course is
Oh,
completely,
really?
yeah, it doesn't give you an accurate picture
That's
of Chinese
really
literature.
unfortunate. That's the most yellow peril
Yes.
of works.
Yeah. And even more worryingly, I studied it at university as part of my American studies degree. It's like, why are we doing this? Why is this relevant? Because it was a thing
It's
over there.
very odd. It's part of the American studies degree. Why? I mean,
There was a question that we were
I'm
asking.
intrigued.
Yes.
So you didn't read any, like, maybe Monkey that was translated by Arthur Waley?
No.
Well, I think of Monkey because I think that was my first probably introduction as a kid to growing up watching which I realized it was a Japanese TV series, but based on the original Monkey story, from China. It was like that. That was that first. Yeah, that was when we didn't have the internet, Fraser.
And you
so,
could trust no one.
Yeah, we knew nothing. But it was one of those openings of, I suppose, first sort of exchange of cultural ideas that, it's a very different world and different Australia perhaps than it is now. It's a lot more wider multicultural than it perhaps was 30 years ago. But there was that little window into, hey, there's a whole other world of stories, and I think that part of that fascination that a lot of people have.
Did you say that the Monkey TV series was your introduction? Oh,
probably when I was younger.
Magic.
Yeah, Monkey Magic. Yeah.
Very catchy theme tune.
Yeah.
I talk to a lot of people who are particularly fans of the earlier generations, people of earlier generations. They say that was the first thing they saw. That's actually the Japanese series, but I thought it transferred the story into the modern world so well. That I am quite grateful to that series, because back then there would have been nothing probably of Asian culture around, not very, very little. And also Water Margin, I don't know if you saw that too. I believe that's made by Toho as well.
Okay.
Some people remember that one as well. And then it's whatever the gateway is, once you're introduced to it, it's great that you can find out more about it, read the original work, or watch more of the films. So it's not necessarily books then that Chinese culture was introduced, or literature. Sometimes it's film, for example, a Bruce Lee film, or a Toho series. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really glad that I still hear things today on social media that people didn't know Chinese sci-fi existed, or they haven't read any Chinese sci-fi, and that was their first introduction, Synopticon, and they really enjoyed it. And I thought, okay, that was really worth it. And about the Ma Bo-yung story in particular, that is like a really rare piece, because when I finally got the contract, I've been interested in Chinese sci-fi, I wanted to translate it for a while, but it wasn't. It was something very niche and wasn't really in the public consciousness until the Hugo Awards, and then a few years after that, I finally got the contract for this thing that I've been planning. But one of the conditions of that was that somebody quite senior at Rebellion, they were a big fan of Ma Boyong, and they said, "Can you please include one of his stories in the collection?" And we thought, well, I read some sci-fi by Ma Boyong before, but he's not really primarily a science fiction writer. He writes historical fiction, he writes fantasies, or the kind of silk punk. He is like enormously popular in China. And then spoke to his agent, and then it turns out he does have another piece. His Silent City, the dystopian piece, was already published. But he does have another piece that hasn't been published, that's kind of based on the workers' spring migration that happens every year when when the workers around the country, they go home to celebrate Chinese New Year. It's like a biggest travel communal commute of and kind of based on that idea of a set in space. And so, yeah, that we ended up with that piece, which I really quite liked. It was a bit depressing, but I really liked the whole world building, the whole kind of progression of it. And so that hasn't been published before in Chinese. It was published in English first, and
Wow.
by a writer who doesn't usually work in sci-fi. So, and I keep telling him, look, you can. There are novels that I know that will be popular, Ma Boyong's novels, because the series have done really well in China, and people, it streams internationally. The streaming sites like iQIYI or WeTV, and people can get it anywhere around the world, and they like it too. So who knows? Fingers crossed.
Tom, what color is your umbrella now?
It's a sunflower.
Xueting, do you have any plans to reprint Sinophasia and change the pattern on the umbrella to a sunflower?
Devious bastard.
I will become the hated, hunted of the umbrella industry.
The umbrella industry hates her for this one simple story.
No, it's true. Every time I see a red umbrella, I worry. Like when people walking around, I'm like, you don't know what you're doing. Like it's powerful.
You've done to umbrellas what Stephen King did to red balloons.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. No, there are so many great points of horror in Sinophasia though that are very culturally specific to China. Like one of my favorite stories was the apartment block for the ones who have passed on. I loved that story, and yet it's not something I would see here, but something that is very much seen in China, right? So it's even like the food and the specific food that forms one of the stories, and yeah, I loved that. Even though it reached me, even though it was things that I wasn't familiar with and things I was learning about, and I think that's a really amazing skill to have produced an anthology that is so different to the culture that I'm familiar with, and yet I'm still being touched and reached by these stories. So yeah.
I was chatting to some fellow East Asian writers the other day, and we were talking about how we're always in the pitches, we're being asked to make it more specific and make it less specific, or make the scope wider. And we're kind of thinking, well, actually, non-specificity doesn't necessarily mean won't actually necessarily make the book sell better or more relatable. And actually, if you make a story more specific to the human experience, whether it's a human in Asia or South America, then the human in Europe can relate to it. Or something that's universal doesn't necessarily mean we all have the same experience. You know,
Mm.
something that you experience when you're on a bus in London does not mean that you know, need to experience it on the same bus elsewhere. It could be something that you're traveling, that you feel when you're traveling on a train. And the point of the universality is that you all have different experiences, but you can relate to that same thing, right? And to with the food horror, it's very much that. I mean, it is very relatable. It's very specific to Chongqing because it's set in those bomb shelters during the war that's converted into a restaurant, and you know, all the history and stuff. But at its heart, it's about kind of going into the unknown parts of the city that, you know, we all have experienced from you know, some point or another, when you go to a strange city or you go to your own city, and you know, 3 o'clock, you know, 11 o'clock at night, you might be wondering, oh, what's that? What's down that alley? You know, it's similar experience whether you're in Manchester or, you know, or somewhere else, Denmark. So yeah, and it's about a relationship as well. So it's very, you know, protagonist that's broken up with his girlfriend and is a few years ago, and is reunited with her. So it's very relatable from that point of view. Yeah. So
I know that with your recommendations that you put out there, Xueting, you are always trying to showcase the best of what Chinese culture has to offer. What I want to ask, and have been dying to ask you for ages, is do you have, so I have guilty pleasures that I know are not great, right? But I love them. Do you have guilty pleasures that you would feel may not represent Chinese culture in like the most fantastic light, yet you absolutely love them, that you can share with us? Like, what are your guilty pleasures, like book, movie, TV show, like all that kind of stuff that you would love to recommend to people, but you feel duty bound that you have to keep it inside? Do you have anything like that? Because I would love to get in on that.
I'm trying to think of some.
I want to know what you think she's going to say to this one. Like, you seem to have an answer in mind.
No, I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm thinking about all of my guilty pleasures, which is why there's a little twinkle in my eye. But
Well, I think because I feel like I saw someone's post, fellow writers post recently, saying that actually, you know, as writers, we never really stop working. You don't just switch off your computer and it stops. It carries on. Anything you experience or any conversation you have, anything you go through can inspire you, and I'm very much like that with Chinese culture, literature, the arts. So my radar is always on whether I want to or not. And actually, my guilty pleasure is then reading something that's not Chinese. So and I do recommend it. I don't mind recommending. Like, I read Firstborn of the Sun. That's one of Michael Anson's Yoruba, so Nigerian fantasy, and I thought it was brilliant. From time to time, I have some time to read something that's not Chinese, and I really enjoy that. So that's really my guilty pleasure, really.
I love it. I love it.
And that's true that I don't feel like I can talk about that all the time in my public accounts, because there's specifically author accounts where I make videos and do articles and post about Chinese culture. But I do occasionally talk about it. Yeah, because they're so enjoyable and I can't help it.
I love that answer, Xueting. I love it.
I mean,
Great.
I'll interject. I was doing professional research before this episode, and I did have a look through your Goodreads page, particularly the books you've read. I do notice that a lot of the English classics crop up, Xueting, and I did find something controversial.
I haven't updated it for ages. I keep meaning to. There's just not enough time. Yeah.
I saw the fear in Xueting's eyes then. Like, oh no!
Well, I'm going to share the controversy.
I mean, after Twitter collapsed, it's just been so much work managing the social media. I mean, there's a Blue Sky and Instagram, and then I have my Chinese social media as well. I mean, to build up that community again has taken a lot. So, but yeah, Goodreads is something I really like. Goodreads as a community, and I want to be on it more when I find the time. But yeah, Tom, I there was once a few weeks I did update it with some books.
There are a few. You rated Bluebird by Seal Perlo. It's 5 stars, which is a very good book. She's also wrote a very steamy vampire book called The Hunter's Gambit, sorry, which I recommend. Very steamy.
Oh, steamy vampire.
5 stars for The First Step by Tao Wong. We're talking about cultivation.
Yeah.
He has another series called The Nameless Restaurant. I don't know if you know it.
I have come across it online, but I haven't read it. It sounds very good.
Very good. Yes. I've been going through the audiobooks, and I would advise not to listen to it or read it when you're hungry, because it will make it 10 times worse. But the controversy, it comes when you are reading Jane Austen.
Oh, yeah.
5 stars for Persuasion, which is fine. That's actually my favorite Jane Austen. But 3 stars for Pride and Prejudice. 3.
I agree with you, Xueting. I agree.
The nation is probably gasping with shock. Oh, how could you?
I audibly gasped when I was scrolling. No, David makes it look so easy when he's doing it.
That was a very David T. List.
What was the seal that you read that you recommended? Hungry.
Sorry, Seal, if you're watching this. It is called The Hunter's Gambit.
Oh, Hunter's Gambit.
Yeah.
Hunter's Gambit.
Which I think I reviewed it for Fanfi Addict. I gave it a 10 because it was very good.
Wow, it's high recommendation indeed.
It's not a book you'd borrow to your grandma because it's rather...
It's saucy, I take it.
Yes.
I think that the opening of Pride and Prejudice should have been, "It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a 5-star read, which this book is not." Pride and Prejudice, right? I had to do it at school. I read it 4 times in a month. The first time I liked it, the other 3 I did not. So I have fallen out of love with that book.
4 times a month. I mean, right? I did go through an Austen phase. Like I read a lot of the classics as a teenager because, I mean, I'd moved to the UK and everything was new to me. And but as a child, you do get used to everything very quickly. But one of the great ways I had of learning about Britain as a society and its history is through the classics, really. I mean, there's history books as well, but the novels I find, particularly the classics, are quite historical novels now. We can see them as maybe a really accessible way to find out about that. And so my tastes were more like, I really loved Thackeray and Dickens and all of that during my teenage, but I did go through an Austen phase, but I think that Persuasion or Northanger Abbey I enjoy them more, I think, than particularly Persuasion.
Yeah,
than the
Captain
other.
Frederick. He's so dreamy.
And Persuasion features in The Lake House, which is a film featuring Keanu Reeves. Now, the reason why for me, the Pride and Prejudice is not as good as people believe it to be is because I think it has been adapted into a superior form with Colin Firth and Jennifer Reilly. And I think that if it was the choice between retaining the book or retaining that BBC adaptation, I think I would go for the BBC adaptation. So that's my thing about the book, like, because that is the ultimate comfort period drama, right?
I also feel it wasn't improved with zombies when they were added.
So I would have thought you'd gone for the zombie version.
I was going to mention that. I really loved it. I really loved that. I have that in the collector's edition. I thought it was a really fun take.
Yeah. Zombies don't always make things. They do generally make things better, but I read a dreadful Star Wars associated, which was, I thought, Stormtroopers zombies. Yeah. What better? And it was the most terrible book I think I've ever read.
Death Troopers.
Stormtrooper zombies.
It was a sort of a contrived thing where sort of they unleashed a zombie plague, as a weapon, and then Han Solo comes and saves the day. It was just it wasn't good.
But surely, if a zombie stormtrooper tries to bite you, it would miss.
They run around going num 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 num.
It'd be tricky to get them all to be troopers, and they want to run off on their own, when they see something as somebody's juicy brain, juicy head. I think I liked. I think is it Seth Graham Smith, the author of Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, because it was great fun, but also he made it work with the tone of the book as well. Somehow he managed to keep the Austen's tone, and then write about the zombie apocalypse, and they integrated it with that. But I think the characters of Northanger Abbey and Persuasion Anne, I think the protagonists, they were more interesting in a way than the ones in Pride and Prejudice. But I mean, I'm not a big Austen fan. I mean, I did read quite a few. If we were to talk about that time, I'd be more, more of a. The names escape me. How can it escape me? The one that wrote A Woman in White and No Name, and
Wilkie Collins.
Wilkie Collins, and probably he's later. I'm more Wilkie Collins and Bronte's Anne and Charlotte than Austen.
This is big stuff, Xueting. Like, I'm not sure. I know that the typical, Beardsmen of the Apocalypse crowd are very into Jane Austen. So what you're...
you are?
We get so many emails.
Sorry. I don't know what I expected.
And you said again, we're not getting her on the show.
I can picture Jane Austen doing a Beardsman article.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I think what she did for literature and for it socially was incredible. I think Jane Austen as a person was fantastic. But I think Jane Austen also is one of those people where culturally she's like a touchstone, and she's such a famous touchstone that everybody knows about it already. And I'm always looking for the things that are a bit more niche. I guess it's a little bit like with your recommendations. There must be things like that where it's like such a big thing that everybody talks about it, and you must be like, oh, but it's not the only thing out there. There's so much more. It's like, so I
That's
get
right.
that feeling with Jane Austen. I feel like, oh yeah, fine, it's great for what it is, and it's wonderful, and I love that people still enjoy it all these years later. Went to the Jane Austen Museum in Bath, and it was lovely. But there's so much more out there than just Austen, you know.
Yeah, I'd be interested in. I've not been to it. I've been to Bath, not been to it, but I'd be interested to go next time I visit.
There's a great place you can dress up just like them and stand with Mr. Darcy. You would love it. It's great.
Oh, I did actually cosplay in a Regency dress as a zombie once for World Zombie Day. I can take out the picture. I had a bonnet on as well, and I surprised people by like doing hunting, and then they come and take a picture because I had a nice dress on, and I'd go.
If you'd have told me before we started this that that's what we would be talking about, and Xueting would be going,
I could use that as my avatar instead.
No, I haven't done that, but I have walked on Jane Austen's grave. So
wow. Okay, that
Oh,
got
Rachel
really
Berry.
serious. Okay, yeah.
she's buried in it's in Winchester Cathedral. There's a plaque on the floor, so you do actually.
How did Jane Austen slight you so?
It marks the forehead, yeah. Yeah.
Did you walk over her grave saying, "Your book's way better with zombies, bitch"?
Yeah. The zombies,
I wonder what she would have thought. Maybe she would have been pleased. I don't know.
yeah.
Maybe she would have been horrified.
Yes, but I've just double checked, but it doesn't mention her novels because I think at the time they were anonymous, so there's no mention of that.
Yeah, I think because it was her brother who did an awful lot to ensure that the credit was given after she had passed away.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, he was like, here's the example of like a good guy, you know.
Yeah, it wasn't borrowed by my novels which your wife wrote.
Yeah, and because that was the thing that sort of helped launch things like Elizabeth Gaskell and the Brontes and all of that kind of thing.
Okay.
So yeah, with the idea that they could actually be featured as sort of, you know, things writing in their own name. Jane Austen kind of paved the way for that. Who knew we would get into like literature history, right?
I don't know a lot about her life or Austen's study. I mean, I haven't studied her as such. The novel, her life, the novels, I have in English literature, but not kind of around her period of time and her influence. But that's great. I mean, she struck me as somebody who came from a well-off background. Am I right? And
I think so.
I mean, people like Gaskell probably less so, or she was more interested in writing about people. North-South divide. That was one of my favorites actually from Gaskell. Maybe it's great that someone like Austen was, you know, helping to introduce, you know, to enable women writers, and who also wrote more kind of diverse subjects in a way later on. Actually, you've given me some inspiration, Fraser, for when I have to try and get people past the one big name. For example, when they say, "Oh, I think I've only read Three Body Problem, and I think it's fantastic," and then, or I've read Jin Yong so far, and I think it's fantastic, and I can say, well, depending on where the person is from, I can say, well, you also, I mean, there's a Jane Austen is great and probably occupies a similar culture in space in this kind of her genre of literature to Jin Yong and Liu Cixin, but there's more to it out there. I'm sure that there's a lot more that you've read. So please do the same with Chinese sci-fi and wuxia. Look beyond that big name.
What blows my mind is that we're talking about Pride and Prejudice and we're talking about books like that, early 1800s, right? You've been looking into ghost stories that are from the 17th century, right? Which predate Jane Austen by like hundreds of years. That, to me, that is just mind-blowing, right? Have you been enjoying that?
Looking at,
you know, the stories that you mentioned about the ghost stories that you've been looking at.
That's post-apocalyptic. So I believe he has a certain kind of established popularity in the West as well by people who like Asian literature, like Asian classical literature. If somebody has read any horror, any Chinese horror, it's likely to be that collection. And you can't not talk about, if you're talking about horror tradition of Chinese literature, you can't not talk about post-apocalyptic. But then also, it's not just post-apocalyptic, there are others out there.
Is post-apocalyptic the Jane Austen of Chinese horror?
Maybe. I think we need to do some more research and analyze that. But yeah, there is a certain similarity because there's a certain comfort in post-apocalyptic to the Chinese. He's a household name, and his ghost stories have been adapted for generation after generation for TV and for the stage and as plays and as films. So there is a comfort too. But then we know that Strange Tales was a very key Chinese genre of horror, the kind of the indigenous genre of horror. These stories presented as if they really happened, but that the author has collected them from people that they've talked to, or either have seen them themselves. This kind of, and actually there's like literally tens of hundreds of strange tales, all by different writers. Paul Songling himself had two other famous contemporaries as well. So yeah, so I did look into Paul Songling. I think there's not a student who doesn't know his name, or in China he's very famous. I mean, maybe not the people who don't read horror or ghost stories at all, or any fantasy literature. But other than that, he is a household name, and what he did with the genre was very important. But by the time he was writing, the genre had already developed into something that was ready for him to do what he did, which was to fashion a whole persona for himself as the storyteller, and a whole world in his collection, of stories. He did hundreds of them. He collected hundreds of them, which were only fully published after he died. And he died very poor, not appreciated. But now he's very much appreciated.
Like you say, there's always something more. That does bring me to our final segue. There's something more for yourself is a segment I rather enjoy on Instagram called Roll for Noodles.
Oh yeah.
You did tell us to bring dice along to this episode.
I did. Yeah. So yeah, roll for noodles. It's effectively something that I've I thought. So I tend to have a quite a dense style in delivery or writing, and so wanted to come up with something that's fun, still Chinese related, and more condensed that people would enjoy. And this role for this or that, particularly sandwich, has been the role for sandwich content creator has been very, popular, and there's a few others as well. And I thought, why not noodles? And that means you get to watch me eating all kinds of weird things. And so concoctions, exactly. But then it's weird because I think somebody suggested Eskimo, which is the Mexican type of Mexican dried worms. But then I used to eat river worms in Guangzhou, so that's not really strange. It's not that strange for me, but maybe adding sprinkles to the noodles would be quite strange, more strange.
I think we should all get T-shirts that say "Why not noodles?"
Yeah.
That to me is a great sentence, Xueting. You thought to yourself, "Why not noodles?" That you could live your life according to that as a mantra. You know, why not noodles?
Yeah.
Actually, we found that noodles have been quite very easygoing. They tend to go with everything. There's very few things that they don't go with. I mean, I've had chocolate noodles, I've had biscuit crumbs, and they seem to be all work with other things. So for this, I wanted to do a special episode of roll for noodles for the Beardsmen. And I'd like you to all be involved in the rolling. So would one of you roll one of the rolls?
Okay.
So we're starting with D4 for the type of noodles, because there's 4 types.
DB, do you want to roll for our type of noodles?
D4, I would be honored. 1.
1. Okay. So we've got soup.
Soup noodles. Okay.
Soup noodles. And then I have my little chart here. Then for the soup, then we're rolling for broth. Would somebody like to roll their D8?
Charlie, can you do us a D8?
I can. I got a 2.
2.
2. That's instant seasoning.
How crazy would it be if the episode that we all roll on gives Xueting like the plainest, most ordinary like thing of noodles ever? We're all like ice cream noodles, and Xueting's like, no, this is what I have like for breakfast, right? Like it's like
just hold on, you chose the pot noodle. What the fuck is wrong with you people?
Exactly, chicken and mushroom. What?
Okay. Sometimes it gets more exciting as you go on. Okay, D6. Please, someone roll the D6.
I will roll a D6. I have a 4.
4. It's wheat noodles.
Okay. None of us are like intolerant, are we?
Well, I am gluten-free as Frasier, but David T. List eats gluten for every meal. Exists solely on a diet of gluten. And it is violent and vigilant.
I must ask, Frasier, have you had a drink before this episode? Because you don't seem to. I've seen a different side to you from this episode to this podcast, this live stream to our interview or other things we've been on.
So I mean, I've known you for a while, Xueting, you know. But the Beardsmen, there's something about the beard, it brings it out of me. I can't help it. And this is just water, I promise. It is just water.
Is it
Keep it
gluten-free
hydrated.
water though?
This,
It is. It is. I've removed the gluten myself.
Okay. So there's Tom. Maybe it would be fun to get Tom to do the wild magic, actually.
Okay.
So I'll go for the mains, which is percentage. The mains, I roll 2 percentage dice for the mains. Oh, I've got multiple sets here. For good luck. Okay. So I've got, get my percentage ones. Yeah, okay. So I've got 3. 3 is broccoli. And 30, which is broccoli.
Double broccoli.
Double broccoli.
Wow.
We've got broccoli, soup, instant seasoning, and
Broccoli max.
and wheat. Right. So far, this is
Super healthy. Well, counters the wheat. Okay, and wild magic. Tom,
Okay.
can you roll the D12 for wild magic?
D12. And 8.
8 is blue cheese. Wow, there you go. More exciting.
Broccoli.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
broccoli begins with B, blue cheese begins with B, beard begins with B, and book begins with B.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So
aligning.
and then we have the condiments as well. The last one. Oh no, hang on. Yeah, that's it. Condiments. Would anyone like to roll again?
Who wants to volunteer?
Oh, I think Tom should.
Me.
Yeah, because you got the blue cheese.
Yeah,
Okay.
you got the best bit.
Yeah.
So there's
And also because your beard is the longest, you are also the wisest.
I'm the wisest. So whatever
Yeah.
condiment this is the wise choice. Okay. It's a 9.
we've got bulldog sauce.
Another
Korean
B.
sauce. So yeah, it's not bad.
Fraser, if this already wasn't being unkind on your behind, it's now got a hell of a lot worse.
Unkind on your behind.
It's spicy, but it's not like a super spicy. So yeah, so I will keep an eye on the channel, keep an eye on social media. I will film this and send you a link to it. And I may ask you to replicate it yourselves as well
Hell yeah.
if you're unlucky.
On behalf of David T. List, David will definitely be doing this. Yeah, I can say
maybe
that for
the
sure.
one, you should be the one to eat it. Any suggestions of blue cheese?
Blue cheese.
one?
Oh,
Yeah. Favorite blue cheese?
what's the black?
How do you say no blue cheese? Because not only do I not eat gluten, but also I mean outside of ice cream, I'm very dairy thin. So like blue cheese would be. I don't even know what. I don't even know there was different types of blue cheese. That's amazing.
There's
Black
blue cheese flavored mini cheddars. You could crumble some of those up.
Oh,
What?
that would be kind of cheating, wouldn't it? I need
Okay.
to put in the real thing.
Okay.
Something like Danish blue or something. Still turn on.
Find some black sticks blue. That's the
Yeah.
best.
Black.
Black sticks.
Black sticks.
You know where you are. with black
Plastics.
sticks.
Sticks as in
Plastics.
Okay, I've never seen this before. Can I get it in the UK? Yeah.
I
Oh,
think
yeah.
you can. Yeah.
Okay.
Or just up north.
Well,
I asked you
sadly,
to send out some down to London.
If
I'll
this
try
is
my- I'm sure
delicious,
I'll
if
see
this
it.
if this is delicious, will it be called the Beardsmen?
yeah.
That would be
Yeah,
great, right?
yeah, it'll be the Beardsmen designed
Broccoli balls
trademark.
What about like
Follow
broccoli
noodles.
beard noodles? And you can
Yeah.
have, as an image, you can have a broccoli beard.
Well, if you turn a broccoli flower upside down, it looks a little bit like a beard.
Yeah, yeah.
Broccoli
Definitely.
beard noodles.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fantastic. Why not? Why not broccoli beard noodles? Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm so glad
That
that
is- So your
Is that what
beard
the B
being
in?
too much.
Is that what the B in DB Rook stands for?
Right, not. No. Do you want to reveal live on the show?
Oh yeah.
It's Bishop.
Bishop.
Yes.
That's so cool.
That's so cool.
Like it reminds me of Firefly.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
How he died.
Yeah.
With a bit of alien sprinkled in.
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't roll that because I wouldn't know where to get it from.
Where do they keep all of the xenomorphs these days? It's like we need more xenomorph meat. Like,
Yeah, it's a big thing, isn't it?
It probably tastes like chicken anyway. So
yeah.
spicy chicken with the whole acid blood
I see.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything tastes like chicken.
that's what they find.
In fact, there's a chicken lurking around in the films, the original films, number 1, 2, and 3.
They're the real masterminds. That's what no one's understood.
Are we saying that xenomorphs are chickens?
There's space chickens.
Space chickens.
Angry space chicken.
Yeah. Yeah, misunderstood space chickens is what we're saying they are. Yeah.
That bleed sriracha.
That's great. I love
Free
that.
range. Yeah.
Self-basting chickens. That's it.
Make their blood orange, right?
Coming soon, Chicken Run 3. Right? There's lots of little plastic xenomorphs, like Play-Doh. Like, that'd be great.
In the chicken coop, no one can hear you scream.
Yeah, we had Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, so there'll be the new Wallace and Gromit and Xenomorphs.
Yeah. Yeah. Bit of cheese, crazy alien being. Like,
Oh man,
This idea, I think we should write to the studios.
listen, I'm as sad as I'm to say this, we have reached the end of the Xueting episode, and what a tangent we've gone down. Jane Austen's like, we were meant to talk about Chinese literature. Oh, we did.
Yeah. But that's best of conversations, right? You go off on random tangents.
Yeah. In this case, Jane Austen slander and tasty space chickens. But before we go, Xueting, tell us, where can we find you? Where should we check out your works and what's next for you?
So I'm on Blue Sky as Xueting Ni .social, bski.social, and then I'm on Instagram as Snow Pavilion, as in the weather and the architecture, and then I'm also on some Chinese social media, Weibo and Xiaohongshu, and then I've got my website snowpavilion.co.uk. I also write articles for different platforms, film and literature, and SFF. So you might find an article on here or there. And otherwise, I've got a new book on Mahjong out. It came out last month. It's called Mahjong Illustrated, and it's a non-fiction book. It looks very pretty, but there is good content too. On a little bit about the history and the culture of Mahjong and the law around that, as in the movies, in the TV series. But it's mainly a guide to people who want to either learn or improve their skills in Mahjong, and I talk about the different branches as well. And it's a book co-written with Joseph Brandt. It's out now, so if you want to check out, there's 2 editions, a pocket one and a collector's one, which is here. And then that's the illustrated, that's the collector's edition. And then I was talking about China 100 plus 100, which is part of the Futures Past series, which I always like to mention that because it makes me think of X-Men, even though it has nothing to do with Marvel Comics. It imagines China 100 years after the pandemic in 2019. So it commissioned stories from well-known writers and a couple of new ones, science fiction, right? Mainly science fiction, but there are some other horror writers in there as well. Stories based around that time. Some very exciting stories. And then, so I'm also working on a queer anthology, and that's been making good progress, and should have some news about that one soon, I think.
Amazing.
So,
right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and also thank you for cosplaying as David T. List, Fraser.
No worries. You can find all of my books at David T. List. Go check out Violence and Vigilance, Spiffbo 11 finalist. You can wish me congratulations, and you can wish me all of the best for the finals as well. I'm up against some stiff competition, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm the guy.
Well. That's good.
Yeah, there's other books as well. Yeah, and I am. If you see a guy in a profile picture reclining on a chair with very long legs in the shape of like some kind of pretzel, that is David T. List. So come follow me wherever you like.
You also have a pen name of Fraser Armitage, and you write.
We don't need to talk about that, Tom. No.
As always, thanks to Charlie Cavendish and DB Rook for being with us as well. And we'll see you guys on the next one.
Take care.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Post-apocalyptic.